Welcome everybody to our very first wellness session that we're doing with our December challenge. We're thrilled that you're here with us, and we're also really excited for the month ahead for you, the wins that are just around the corner for you. So before we get started, I want to do a little bit of breath work with you. So what I'd like you to do is I want you to do take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for 4 seconds. And then you're going to breathe out, push all your air out for 5 seconds through your mouth. Okay, so you're going to go in for 4. And then out. You're going to go in for 4, and then you're going to hold. In for 4. You're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, so that's a really nice way to just get yourself centered. So I did that as much for you as, for me as for you. But it's a good way for us to kind of just relax. You can do that anytime throughout the day. It really helps to get more oxygen going through your body, and just kind of helps you to come down a little bit. Okay, so let's do a preview of what this month will be for us here on our wellness sessions weekly. So today, this is week 1, and we are going to be discussing making a commitment, how making a commitment is necessary and why it's so important, and what elements we can use to help us to make a commitment. Week 2 is going to be about mindset and gratitude. And that's going to be handled by one of our other coaches, Ashley Morales. Week 3 is going to be about consistency. So Regina Watson, she's off camera right now, but she's here. She's going to be handling consistency. Keep it up. So you're going to be halfway through the month at that point. And we want to make sure that you are going to finish strong. And then week 4, Rico Smith, one of our other coaches, will be talking about celebrating your wins, but don't stop. Remember, 30 days is just the beginning, and we're trying to establish lifestyle changes here so that this is just the beginning of a better quality of life. So, making a commitment is really important because how many of you have ever been on a diet before? And have you felt like you've been successful at that diet, or did it feel like a temporary thing to you? A lot of most people that I talk to, a diet kind of indicates that you're going to be limiting your choices. You're going to be going on doing something where all the good things that you love are going to be taken out of your house, out of your reach for a little finite length of time. But then after that, you're thinking, well, I can get off it and I can, go back to my old way of doing things. So that is the trouble with dieting. And so we want to make a commitment to a different way of thinking. We want to make a commitment to this being a lifestyle change. We use the word transformation, and transformation is really a complete change. When we think about from how a butterfly becomes a butterfly, that is a complete change, and that is a transformation. So that's what we are hoping for, and that's what we're setting ourselves up for. But we need to make a foundation, and part of the thing that we have to do is discover, what is our why? What is our reason for wanting to get on a different lifestyle, to make different choices, and to improve the quality of our life? So for just about 2 minutes, what I'd like you to do is, if you have a piece of paper and pen handy, I want you to use that. If you have to go get something real quick, use your phone, or whatever you want to do. But what I'd like you to do is write down your why, the reason why you want to make better choices and improve the quality of your life through nutrition. So we'll just take a couple of minutes, and then if anybody wants to be brave, we'll ask for a couple people to just say what they put down. I'm going to do the exercise with you. Okay, I'm getting eyeballs up here, so that looks like everybody is done doing that little exercise. Okay, so is there anybody that wants to be brave and wants to share what their why is? Okay, I kind of thought that might happen. Oh, Yvette, thank you. I think you can unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go.
So I started writing down to have a better life, and then I wrote to live better, and then I fine-tuned it to take back my life. So I think that's really what my why is.
That's awesome. That is great. Darren.
So I put down best quality of life as we age and maintain energy and mobility.
Man, that is really, really great. Cassie.
I had mine written down from like 6 weeks ago, so I didn't have to write it down again. But mine kind of encompasses Darren's as well. Like the things that I enjoy in life, I want to do without pain and inflammation. And I'm tired of a life that's limited by my weight and discomfort.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Regina.
And for me to be functional with the age I am, continue to be functional and being able to get off the floor or whatever I'm doing, or lifting or whatever the thing is. And plus, I love to ski. So that's my big thing there, to continue in my sports.
That's awesome. And Deanne.
And mine was to enjoy time with my grandchildren for as long as possible, and to stay away from the doctors and ER.
That is awesome. You and I were on the same page on that one. That is awesome. Okay, so now that we have our why, we're going to do this next exercise is going to tie that together with goals. So goals that we have for not just the month of December, but of course that's what these sessions are geared towards, is this month of December, but it's actually setting up habits and goals that are going to continue with us. Okay, so thinking about your why that you just wrote down, what would be a couple of goals that you could put down related to the 4 pillars of wellness and that we'll be talking about. 1 is the food that you eat. 2 is the movement that you have. 3 is the sleep, the quality of sleep. And then 4 is your mental attitude. So if you think about those 4 and you're going to tie that with your why and into your goals. So choose one of those 4 pillars or more if you want to, but for lack of time, we're not going to be able to do all 4, but look at one of those goals and tie it to your why. And then you'll come up with a goal related to that. Does that make sense? Now, the goals that you set, we want these to be specific. Don't just say, I want to eat better. If you're talking about the food that you eat, but be specific. What does that mean to you? And what kind of goal would that entail when you think about food? If it's movement, don't just say, I want to move every day. Well, what specific goals are you going to make related to that? Because when we have a specific goal, then we're able to measure our success with that goal. I read a book a little while ago called Atomic Habits. It's a book that I just really love and I always recommend it. And one of the things that James Clear said in that book is, if you want to be a healthy person, then the things that you do, you have to ask yourself when you're making a decision, what would a healthy person do? If you want to be a cyclist and it's a little bit cold and windy outside because we live in Santa Maria, you don't want to go on the bike ride, you ask yourself, wait, what would a cyclist do? Am I a cyclist? Yes, I'm a cyclist. This is what a cyclist would do. So being the person that you are, be that person and make the decisions based on what that person would do. I love that point, and it's a good guiding principle. Okay, so we have our why, which is really important. I want you to keep that front and center, because as we go through challenges in changing our habits, we're going to need to go back to our why. Okay, what's important to me? Why am I doing this? And then continue to develop your goals. Maybe right now one of your goals is just I'm going to walk 15 minutes every day. But maybe halfway through the month, that's a breeze. So now you have to modify your goal and you have to say, okay, I'm gonna walk 30 minutes every day. So, those goals are going to be a little more fluid. And then your why can also change. Let's say that right now your why is just, hey, you know what? I'm 40 years old and I just want to feel as good as I can feel, making good decisions. But let's say that you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you your cholesterol is alarmingly high, your blood pressure is high, your blood sugars are high. Okay, now your why has to change, right? So, those things are going to change as need be. But keeping in touch with yourself and how you're feeling is really important. Okay, so I wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about challenges in making this a lifestyle change. So I wanted to talk to Danny. And I'm going to ask him a couple of questions that I wanted him to share with you, because he had some insightful things to say the other day. And I said, I want you to share those with the group on Monday. So Danny, you have been doing the lifestyle subscription for a little over 3 years now. And now when you started, what were some of the challenges that you had, and what did you have to do so that 3 years later you were still able to continue on that lifestyle?
Yeah, I'm just gonna warn everybody, my Wi-Fi is really weak. But anyways, so I learned that you have to prepare each day to be successful. And that with me is, since I work out of the house, I have to take my nutrition with me. And if I wasn't prepared, then I would either come home starving, or I did maybe purchase something that wasn't really one of the proper, foods to eat. So I think that was the biggest deal, is preparing to be successful. So in the morning before I left, I already had my first shake, all my aminos and whatever other supplements I was taking. And then I would take the rest of it with me until I got home. So I'd have snacks, I'd have some fruit, some vegetables, and then my power shake I would take with me also.
Awesome. And yeah, and you still do exactly that. So that is really good. What would you say as one of your best tips for making good choices and continuing on that lifestyle?
So I think not to feel sorry for yourself, like this is for me, I have to do this,
Mhm.
but look at it in a positive way. Like, wow, I'm glad I get to do this now. I've learned something, how to take care of myself. I've learned how to improve my lifestyle. Because at first I was like, oh man, I got to do this for 30 days. Shoot, it's gonna be rough. But as time went on and I felt better and better, and I could fit into my clothes easier, and I could walk and I could ride my bike and I could do things that uh that I'll be 60 next year, and I want to be able to continue doing this until until I can. So I don't have that. I don't like to think of it in a negative way. I like to think of it in a positive way.
That is awesome. So important. And Ashley's going to touch on that next week when she talks about mindset and gratitude. But yeah, that is so important. I'm glad you mentioned that. And thank you for sharing those points with us. Okay, so now as you embark on this lifestyle journey, some of you are just starting, some of you have been on it for a little while, like Dan, he's been on it for 3 years. But it's not going to be without challenges, right? So we have to anticipate those. We have to understand, okay, it's not going to be without challenges. So I wanted to talk to Cassie, and she is her and Tony have been doing it. They're going into month 2. And so I wanted to ask Cassie, what challenges did you have? And Tony, if you want to say something too, you're welcome to. But Cassie, what challenges did you have, and what have you done to mitigate some of those challenges?
Well, the first one I was most hesitant about coming in was no alcohol. That was one thing that I thought, oh man, you're taking all the fun out of my life, because we like to watch football on Sundays, and it's fun to watch football with a beer and chips and salsa. And I'm like, there's no chips, there's no beer. Like, all my fun is gone. I couldn't have wine. I like to enjoy nice wines, and I like to unwind at the end of the day with a glass of red wine. And I just felt like so deprived. But you had recommended to me in the beginning to, have a apothecary cocktail. So we started to make our apothecary at night, and it became our nightly ritual, and we really enjoy it. And in the beginning, I did my half amount of it and I put it in a wine glass. So like while I'm cooking dinner, I felt like I had a glass of wine in my hand. And a lot of it is just analyzing like, why do I miss what I miss? And a lot of time it wasn't the thing, it was the ritual. So if I could replace that ritual with a new ritual, it was a lot better. You know, like Tony liked to have a cocktail at night, so he would just do sparkling water with his apothecary or get fun flavors of sparkling water so that he could have something that he enjoyed. So a lot of it was just like thinking about what it is that I really missed and then replacing it with something that was better. And you know, if I want something, one of the things I'm resistant to is having anything cold in the morning. I really don't enjoy it. Finding something warm to have that's going to make me feel good, like hot tea or something like that, and warm up my insides, is just a lot better for me. I struggle. One of my challenges is I don't really like taking pills and I'm not very good at taking them consistently. Tony is awesome at reminding me. He's so good. Did you take your aminos yet? Did you take your biomedic today? Did you? But like those pills, those aminos, they're big and they're chalky and a little bit bitter. So if I put a splash of OJ in my water or put some fresh lemon in my water, it cuts the bitterness and I can swallow them down easier. So I just look for little tips like that to just make it easier to do all the things.
And she's right. Yeah, that was my biggest challenge was other than like breads and pastas. I love eating that stuff, but I've realized there's other things that I can have as side dishes that go well too. So it's just about making changes and substituting different things. You know, I've had rice with most of my as a side dish for most of my stuff, and it goes well. And then you find after a couple of weeks, you really don't miss the bread that much. Although I did smell some garlic bread in the store that was like fresh made, and had to hold off for a minute there. And I did like to have a cocktail at night. I've always been a soda drinker, like back when I was a teenager and even throughout my 20s and 30s, I would drink like a big gulp every day. And I knew it wasn't good for me. So I switched years and years ago to drinking all natural sodas like Zevia and Virgil's, and having those that don't have any sugar in it, or if they have any type of sweetener, they use like Zevia, the stevia or the stevia plant as the sweetener. And so I would drink those instead, or drink sparkling waters. And then I would even have my cocktail would be like a whiskey with Zevia root beer or cola or something at night. So then I just stopped putting the whiskey in it, and I'd have the Zevia or have the sparkling water with the apothecary, and didn't really miss it.
Cool. And you know, that's a good example. And thanks for sharing that, you guys, because you know, we're going to have we're going to be making new routines. And sometimes that is all it is that we have gotten into a routine of doing certain things. And so you know, the discomfort comes right at first before those things are become habits like they were before the other things. And when that happens, then we're well on our way to making better choices and better habits. And like Cassie said, I love that you said that there's swaps, because there's a lot of swaps that we can make. And that sounds like you guys are doing that. So that is awesome. Okay, so I prepared a little handout for you today. I put the link in the chat. So let me know if you have any problems getting it. It's a PDF, so it should be pretty easy to download to your computer and look at it, or on your phone or whatever. But it is our wellness guide. We talk about the 4 pillars of wellness in there and tips. I included a few recipes just to get you started, a few of my favorites that Danny and I really like and that are easy. We love the easy but nutritious recipes. Okay, So that brings us to the end of our first session. And this has been awesome. I have loved being with you all, and I loved hearing the shares and the encouragement. This is the beginning. Now, between now and next Monday, I want to tell you what some of your options are. Now, some of you are here and you already had a health coach that you were working with. So I want you to continue to work with them. I want you to keep in touch with them. The clients that I have that I work with, I want to hear you. I want to get texts from you. I want to hear how things are going. And especially if there's wins, we love to hear your wins. And so next week, we're going to start our session. If you want to get here just a little bit early, maybe the first couple of few minutes before we start, we'll share some wins that we've had, things that you were surprised about that you did really well with. Maybe you had to go someplace and you made really good choices, or it wasn't really as hard as you thought it was going to be. That's pretty awesome. We love to hear that. So that is what I had to say today. I'm going to stop recording and let's see, okay, there we go.